I'm here because I am a roaring lion crying out, righteousness. Why did the chicken cross the road, right? What's the answer? We want to get to the other side. Simple enough. But my question today to you is, why did Joe Biden go to Kiev in Ukraine? That's what I want. Why did that boy go? That is the question. That is a $64,000 question. That Joe Biden, yesterday, I'm turning on the television, and the boys over there with Zelensky, or whatever his name is, Volodymyr Zelensky, in Kiev, right there near the Russian front. I mean, in a war zone. Joe Biden, my time, is in and the reports are that, he flew first to Poland, lead that messenger, he flew first to Poland in a strange looking place. He didn't take Air Force One. I figured everybody would know that, seeing that boy flying through the skies. China might send a balloon after it. So he got on one of these, nondescript planes, the military, and flew 7 hours over to Poland. And then the reports are that after he got to Poland, he boarded a train, and from Poland, which is right on the border of Ukraine down near Crimea, and took a 10-hour trip on a train to Kiev. And it was all secret. Only two pool reporters could go, and nobody knew about everything. Hush, 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 hush. Nobody knew anything about it. But then they told me, I heard also, and I'm trying to figure this one out, because I figure I know a whole lot of stuff. I figure a whole lot of other stuff. I can do a jigsaw puzzle. I can do all kinds of stuff. I'm trying to figure this one out. I haven't figured this one out yet. They said after doing all that secrecy, flying, wouldn't fly Air Force One, didn't get all his regular Jeeps, and didn't take the Beast with him. He goes everywhere, didn't take his regular security force with him. He even left Jill home and Kamala. But after he gets to the border of Ukraine and Poland, he sends a note to Putin, says, Putin, I want to send you a deconfliction notice. I think that's what they call it, deconfliction. I never heard that word before. I heard a whole lot of stuff, mostly cuss words. But deconfliction, well, what does that mean? It means that Biden sent Putin a note saying, I'm going to be in Ukraine, in the war zone, on a train for 10 hours. Don't you mess with me. Don't let none of your boys mess with me. Stop the shelling. Call back your Air Force. Call back your grenade throwers. Call back your switchblade knife. To call back all your convicts. Don't you touch me. I'm going to be traveling through Ukraine on a 10-hour trip. Don't bother me. So the couple of things. One is, if you're going to tell Putin you're going to be in Ukraine and then tell him don't touch you because you're there, there's something called deconfliction. Why not take a flight, man, and be there in an hour rather than on a train for 10 hours? That didn't make no sense to me. I think Biden needs some new advisors. I'm going to apply for that. Well, I'll only be that boy's advisor. Anyway, so Putin acquiesced. Putin said, okay, you come to Ukraine. I ain't going to shoot nothing. We're going to stop all the shooting until you leave. I mean, so here's the deal. They're saying that if Putin had shot at Biden or something or tried to kill him while he was there, that it would be on. I don't think so. I tell you what I think. I'll tell you what I think. I think that Putin don't really care nothing about Biden. And I bet you Biden wouldn't do that with Xi Jinping over there in China. But the other thing is that, the original question was, why did the chicken cross the road? Why did Biden go to Ukraine? Okay, so it's the 1-year anniversary of the war. Everybody thought Putin's going to take it in 3 weeks or 3 days or 3 hours or something. It didn't happen, and everything. The fighting is still going on. They're alleging that Russia's lost 250,000 troops and all that going on. And so Biden actually goes into a war zone, a heroic thing, something that's pretty much unprecedented, unheard of. I mean, of course, there were soldiers, presidents that went to Vietnam, but that was when we were in control of the military. We had no control of military within Ukraine, but he went anyway. So that makes him a big deal. But some people are suggesting, even Elizabeth suggested that, well, I don't get Elizabeth in trouble. I have people hating her like the way they hate me. Scratch that. But I said, well, she said about Biden, so I'm going to have to let that part of it go. But then we're going to start hating her. Anyway, so, and he's over there, and they're all walking around out there in the public square. Everybody walking around, people out there, and so then he gets back on a train while you're a 10-hour train trip, I mean, what kind of train was it? Was it Amtrak? Anyway, so I think it's all a farce. I think he actually went there. I do. I don't think Putin cares two hoots about Biden. And, why nuke Biden? And unless, he thought maybe he could get, Trump to be president again. But I think Putin probably said this, listen, come on over here, Biden, you do what you want to do. You bring everybody. Bring your grandchildren if you want, because I ain't going to nuke you, because if I nuke you, Kamala Harris going to be president for the next 2 years, and that we can't deal with. That ain't no way, Jose, we're going to deal with Kamala Harris for the next 2 years. Oh, no, so I think that's why Putin let it go. That's about the stuff that I can't report. But he was there, and a lot of people say it was brave of him to do that, and on and on and on and on, and all the people in Ukraine. I don't know what you think about the war. I don't know. Here's what I think, and I'll tell you what I think. What I think is always right. I think that ultimately that Putin is going to drop a nuke on Kiev, ultimately. I think he is not fired on Kiev for the same reason Hitler didn't fire on London in terms of Westminster Abbey, the Parliament building sitting down the Thames River. All those buildings, listen, Hitler could have bombed those buildings to smithereens. He could have bombed the Eiffel Tower. He could have bombed the Champs-Élysées. He could have bombed the Arc de Triomphe. He didn't, because Hitler wanted to take complete control of the country of England. And, the Parliament building is that place is the joint. If you ever seen it, it's the one with the Big Ben clock on it. It sits right down the river. And then there's Westminster Abbey. There is Buckingham Palace. Why would you bomb those? Because if you take London, then you want to have those. Hitler want to have Buckingham Palace as his hangout joint. So he told his Luftwaffe guys, that's the Hitler airport, don't bomb these. Bomb all these little houses out there in the hinterland. Bomb all that stuff. Bomb the factories and whatnot, but don't bomb them. And the same thing with the reason why Kiev is still standing. Kiev is not standing because Zelensky's got this major military strategy to protect those buildings. Putin ain't bombing them because it's a beautiful, austere building. These buildings built back in the 3rd, 4th, 5th century. They are beautiful with art, men that work these tiles and put all that stuff together. You can't find nobody with that kind of talent no more in the world. So Putin got enough sense not to bomb these buildings. Bomb the houses in these new apartment buildings and all that with cable television. Do that. But don't bomb these very precious, because when Putin comes to Ukraine and takes the whole joint, he wants to be able to, live in these and use these buildings for his officers, or send some of his, his men that's going to be president of Ukraine to be able to have all these fancy digs or dugs or whatever. So, that's how war works. In case you don't know, that's why you listen to me, because I can tell you that's how war works.